Eamon Kelly, born in 1947 in the Summerhill district of Dublin, would go on to become one of Ireland's most infamous figures in the world of organised crime. From a humble background in a working-class neighbourhood, Kelly's journey into the criminal underworld would take him from petty crimes to masterminding large-scale drug smuggling operations. He became a key player in Dublin's criminal world, leading many to view him as the Godfather of the city's underworld, a title that only grew as his criminal empire expanded. Growing up in the rough streets of Summerhill, Dublin, Eamon Kelly's early life was marked by poverty and hardship. His father worked as a dock worker, while his mother was a homemaker, trying to make ends meet in a district often associated with crime and economic instability. From an early age, Kelly found himself exposed to the harsh realities of life, and it wasn't long before he became involved in petty crime. As a teenager, Kelly became known for small-time thefts and street-level crimes. He wasn't drawn into crime by any sense of ambition or grand design, but rather by necessity, as the lure of easy money and survival in an unforgiving environment made criminality an attractive option. Dublin's underbelly became his school, and from the streets, he learned quickly. It was during this period that Kelly's involvement with Dublin's criminal underworld began to solidify, as he quickly made connections with other local criminals and began to play a larger role in the networks that ran Dublin's streets. At this early stage, Kelly began to demonstrate leadership traits that would shape his future in organized crime. His organizational skills, ability to keep a low profile, and street smarts allowed him to gradually climb the ranks. He understood that survival in the criminal world was as much about relationships as it was about violence, and he began making alliances with key figures in Dublin's crime scene. By the 1970s, Kelly had become deeply entrenched in the city's criminal scene. He moved from small-time theft to more serious crimes, including armed robbery and organized heists. His expertise in planning and executing high-stakes robberies soon earned him a reputation as a skilled operator. He was methodical, strategic, and incredibly efficient in his operations, with a keen eye for avoiding the law. However, Kelly wasn't just any criminal. He was a leader, a strategist with a keen mind for managing operations, and he quickly climbed the ranks of Dublin's criminal elite. His growing reputation also brought with it power. He became a key player in Dublin's burgeoning criminal syndicates, making his name synonymous with organized crime in the city. Kelly was soon regarded as an influential figure, and his operations expanded beyond petty crime to include everything from extortion to smuggling. One of the pivotal moments in Kelly's rise was his relationship with the Irish National Liberation Army. While his activities were criminal in nature, his association with the INLA helped him gain protection and connections within the Irish Republican movement. Kelly forged strong alliances with paramilitary figures, which would become central to his empire. The INLA, though primarily a political organization, had deep ties to the criminal world, and Kelly's involvement with them allowed him to broaden his operations. It was during this time that Kelly began to mentor younger criminals who would later go on to run their own operations. Among his protégés were notorious figures such as Eamon "the Don" Dunn, a future gangster leader who would become a significant figure in the Irish underworld, and Martin "Marlowe" Hyland, who would also rise to prominence. Kelly's influence and his ability to bring these individuals into the fold of organized crime ensured that his empire would continue to grow. By the early 1990s, Kelly had recognized the potential of the emerging drug market in Ireland. Cocaine, which had already begun to spread in Europe, was in high demand, but it had not yet fully established itself in Ireland. Kelly saw an opportunity to profit from the booming demand for illicit drugs, and he shifted his focus to drug trafficking. His entrance into the drug trade would solidify his status as one of Ireland's most notorious criminals. Kelly's first major drug trafficking operation involved the smuggling of nearly 1 kilogram of high-grade cocaine into Ireland. At the time, The value of the drugs was approximately €50,000, an enormous sum for any single operation. This initial success allowed Kelly to expand his network of contacts and suppliers. As the demand for cocaine grew in Ireland, Kelly became one of the leading suppliers of the drug, cementing his position at the top of the criminal food chain. However, Kelly's involvement in the drug trade would also bring him into conflict with law enforcement, the Irish government, and rival criminal organizations. The increasing violence surrounding drug trafficking became a major concern, and Kelly's criminal activities started attracting the attention of both police and rival factions. His smuggling activities soon expanded beyond cocaine to include other drugs like heroin and ecstasy. Kelly had an uncanny ability to forge connections with international drug cartels, ensuring that his operations were well-funded and far-reaching. His skill in keeping a low profile while maintaining a vast and complex network allowed him to evade significant law enforcement attention for years. Upon his release from prison in 1998, after serving time for his involvement in cocaine trafficking, Eamon Kelly quickly reasserted his dominance in the Dublin underworld. He reconnected with old associates and began managing a growing network of criminals who took on a variety of illicit operations, from smuggling to money laundering. Kelly had once again become a central figure in Dublin's criminal community, and his reputation remained unchallenged for the time being. But this period also saw increasing tensions between Kelly and rival factions, particularly as other criminal groups began to challenge his supremacy. The most significant of these rivals was the Real Irish Republican Army, a faction that had split from the INLA. The RIRA had their own political agenda, but like Kelly, they were also heavily involved in criminal enterprises, including drugs and extortion. Kelly's close association with Dessie O'Hare, a notorious figure in Dublin's underworld, only deepened the animosity between Kelly and the RIRA. Tensions escalated, and Kelly became the target of several assassination attempts, most notably in 2010 when a gunman opened fire on him in Killester, Dublin. Luckily, the weapon malfunctioned, and Kelly was left unharmed. But it was clear that Kelly was living on borrowed time, as enemies within the underworld and the paramilitary organizations that had once been his allies closed in on him. On December 4, 2012, Eamon Kelly was assassinated outside his home in Killester, Dublin. He was shot 3 times in the chest by a gunman who was believed to be associated with the new IRA. Kelly's death marked the violent end of a criminal dynasty and a turning point in the history of Dublin's underworld. The murder of Kelly left a power vacuum, with multiple criminal factions vying for control. His death was the result of the violent, ever-shifting allegiances within the criminal world, where loyalties could change in an instant. Kelly had spent decades building his empire, but in the end, it was his association with the wrong people and his involvement in violent conflicts that led to his demise. His legacy, however, remains deeply ingrained in the criminal history of Ireland. Kelly's influence and the empire he built left an indelible mark on Dublin's underworld. His mentorship of young criminals and his contributions to shaping the Irish drug trade cannot be overstated. His rise from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most feared and respected figures in Irish crime serves as a cautionary tale of ambition, power, and the consequences of living a life of crime. Eamon Kelly's life story serves as a chilling reminder of the allure and dangers of the criminal world. From his humble beginnings in Summerhill to his rise as a Godfather figure in Dublin's underworld, Kelly's journey was one of ambition, crime, and power. His involvement in the drug trade, mentorship of future crime lords, and his ability to navigate the dangerous world of criminal politics ensured that his legacy would endure long after his death. While many criminals come and go, Kelly's influence remains etched in the history of Dublin's underworld. His life story continues to be studied by those interested in the complexities of organized crime, and his name is still spoken with reverence and fear in the criminal world. Despite his violent death, Kelly's legacy lives on, a testament to the indelible mark he left on Dublin's criminal history. That is it for our video today. Like and subscribe and comment below what you think of Eamon Kelly, and I will see you on the next video.